They didn't know she was a skilled fighter pilot until they needed her to fly an F-22 Raptor in an emergency. This story starts at Edwards Air Force Base in California, where Airman Jessica Phoenix Chen was finishing her morning tasks as an aircraft mechanic. At 32 years old, Jessica had worked for 8 years on the flight line, taking care of the newest fighter jets in the U.S. Air Force. But everyone thought she was just another good mechanic who had never been in a plane. But even her closest co-workers didn't know they were working with one of the most honored fighter pilots in recent Air Force history. Chen, we need you to check Raptor 7, which is named Technical Sergeant Mike Wrench Thompson, and it's the shiny F-22 that has just come back from a training flight. The pilot noticed some strange numbers in the flight control system. Jessica nodded and took her tools, carefully walking up to the $150 million stealth fighter, just like she did with every plane in the maintenance area. To everyone watching, she seemed like a skilled worker, just doing her regular job. What they didn't notice was how Jessica's eyes took in every detail of the F-22's setup. She didn't even realize how she checked if the airplane was ready for battle, and her hands moved over the controls like someone who had flown this exact plane in places she didn't even know about. Chen, Sergeant Thompson said, "Captain Rodriguez is coming to watch the test. Make sure everything is done correctly. You know how pilots feel about their planes." Jessica almost smiled at the funny contrast. If only Thompson realized that she spent more time flying F-22 Raptors than Captain Rodriguez had flown in total, or that she had gotten cool nicknames in 3 different battle zones before switching her flight gear for work clothes. Jessica Phoenix Chen wasn't just a regular maintenance worker who joined after finishing high school. She was Captain Jessica Chen, the first woman pilot to earn ace status for flying the F-22 Raptor. She had 7 confirmed kills in secret missions over enemy areas that the government said didn't actually happen. 8 years ago, Jessica was declared dead after a secret mission in another country went badly. The official documents said that Captain Chen's F-22 was shot down and nobody survived. In reality, Jessica was rescued by special forces after finishing a secret mission. Her safety needed to be kept a secret, along with the details of the mission. The Pentagon let her decide: take on a new identity and leave military aviation for good, or face the chance of revealing actions that might harm international relations. Jessica decided to keep the mission safe by giving up her pilot's career for a new job as a maintenance specialist, where she could remain unknown. For 8 years, she worked on the planes she used to fly, seeing younger pilots get into the seats she could no longer use. She spotted issues in systems she understood better than the engineers who built them. She also saw pilots practice skills they learned from guides she had helped create. The toughest part wasn't losing my position or being noticed. She watched F-22s take off for missions, knowing that her skills could have helped save lives, but she couldn't be involved because of things she couldn't control. Technical Sergeant Thompson's voice broke into her thoughts. "Captain Rodriguez has arrived for the meeting." Captain Maria Rodriguez walked towards the F-22 with confidence, like a pilot who had earned her spot in one of the best groups in the Air Force. She was nice. Jessica noticed how Rodriguez moved around the plane, but she was also young, about 26 years old, with skills learned from great training, but not much real fighting experience. Sergeant Thompson, how's my helicopter doing? Chen is checking it out completely, ma'am. She will finish the report in 15 minutes. Captain Rodriguez nodded and went over to where Jessica was working. Airman Chen, is that you? I've heard nice things about what you do. How long have you been working on Raptors? Jessica looked up from her tablet and met Rodriguez's eyes. 8 years, ma'am. I am familiar with these airplanes. That's great. Most maintenance technicians don't get a lot of specific experience with F-22s. Have you ever thought about learning to fly? The question shocked Jessica. For 8 years, no one had asked her about flying. Everyone thought that the maintenance workers chose to stay in one place, not because they couldn't go anywhere. I thought about it, ma'am, said Jessica thoughtfully. I'm happy with my current task. Captain Rodriguez looked at Jessica carefully, like all good pilots do. They can understand people and situations just as well as they can read their instruments and maps. Chen, you walk around this airplane like you know it really well. That's not usual for maintenance workers, even for those with a lot of experience. Are you really sure you've never flown anything before? Just as Jessica was about to respond, the emergency alarm started blaring all over Edwards Air Force Base. Attention! The base commander shouted over the emergency radio system. We have verified that enemy planes are coming near a no-fly zone. This is not a practice. All ready, pilots? Go to operations now. Captain Rodriguez was already hurrying to the operations building when the second announcement was made. All F-22 Raptor pilots, get ready to take off right away. Unidentified planes have crossed into our outer defense area. Jessica saw Rodriguez go into the operations center and then come back to her work, trying to push aside the rush of excitement she felt when she heard the combat alarms. For 8 years, she learned to just watch during moments like this. Observing other pilots manage situations she used to be good at. 20 minutes later, Sergeant Thompson hurried back to the flight line, looking serious and worried. Chen, we have a problem. Captain Rodriguez and Lieutenant Williams were called to action 15 minutes ago, but Rodriguez's F-22 had a hydraulic problem while taking off. She had to make an emergency landing, and Williams's plane got hit by something out there. Jessica felt a chill run through her body. How serious is the damage? Williams is okay, but his Raptor is broken. Rodriguez's bird needs at least 4 hours to replace the hydraulic system. And here's the main issue. Those are the only 2 F-22 pilots with the right training on base today. Everyone else is either working somewhere else or taking time off. Jessica felt her carefully built life starting to fall apart. What about the threat that's coming? Thompson looked worried. Radar detects 4 unknown planes that are likely enemies moving toward military sites that are off limits. They will be close to important targets in 30 minutes. Without the F-22's ability to intercept, we can't stop them. What's the plan of the base commander? That's the issue, Chen. We don't have it. The closest pilots who can fly the F-22 are at Nellis, which is 4 hours away. Ground defenses might not be enough if the enemies have better technology to fight back. Jessica looked at the F-22 she had been working on, her mind quickly thinking about strategy ideas she hadn't thought about in 8 years. The airplane was working well, completely equipped, and ready to fight. What it didn't have was a pilot. Sergeant Thompson, Jessica said slowly, what if I said there might be another choice? Thompson stared at her, puzzled. Chen, what are you saying? We need F-22 pilots, not maintenance workers. Jessica took a big breath, realizing that what she was about to say would change her secret life forever. Sergeant, please call Colonel Harrison and let him know that Captain Jessica Phoenix Chen is alive and ready to fight. Thompson looked at her as if she had said something he didn't understand. Chen, what are you talking about? 8 years ago, the Air Force said I was killed in action during a secret mission. I've been staying low-key as a maintenance worker ever since. If enemy planes are a danger to American sites, my disguise doesn't matter anymore. Technical Sergeant Thompson gave Jessica a confused look, as if she was acting crazy. Chen, I know you're dealing with a lot right now, but pretending to be a dead pilot won't help us fix our issue. Jessica took out her diagnostic tablet and quickly opened files that Thompson had never seen. Secret maintenance records with technical information that regular staff shouldn't know. Sergeant, check out these test results. I've been keeping an eye on how the F-22 performs in ways that aren't listed in the maintenance manual. I know these airplanes because I've flown them in fights. Thompson looked at the data, and his face changed from doubt to being puzzled. The technical analysis Jessica put together was very detailed and showed a deep understanding of how planes work and their combat systems, well beyond what is normally needed for maintenance. Chen, how do you know all this? I know because for 4 years I was Captain Jessica Phoenix Chen, the leader of the F-22 squadron and the youngest woman to hold A status in Air Force history. I was said to have died in a secret mission that the government says never took place. The Pentagon gave me a new name to keep secret plans safe. Thompson looked at her for a long time, then took his radio. Colonel Harrison, this is Sergeant Thompson at the airstrip. I need you to come here right now. We may have a fix for the lack of pilots. 5 minutes later, Colonel Harrison reached the airstrip, looking like he was ready to deal with a maintenance problem, not to have a talk that would shake up everything he believed about his team. Sergeant Thompson, why is it so important that you need to interrupt me while I'm handling this emergency? Jessica asked as she moved closer, standing up straight like an officer instead of a technician. Colonel Harrison, I'm Captain Jessica Phoenix Chen. I was announced as dead 8 years ago during Operation Silent Thunder. I've been working secretly as a maintenance worker, but now I need to come out of hiding because of a current danger. Colonel Harrison looked at Jessica closely, like an officer who had seen many secret missions and knew that unlikely stories could sometimes be real. Airman Chen, if you're saying things that aren't true about secret operations, sir. Operation Silent Thunder 2016, a deep mission over enemy land. 7 enemy planes were involved, 7 kills confirmed. My F-22 got badly damaged, and Special Forces came to get me. The Pentagon kept my survival a secret to keep operations safe. Harrison's face looked really different. Operation Silent Thunder was so secret that less than 20 people in the whole Air Force knew what it was about. Chen, what was your nickname during that mission? Phoenix, Sir Captain Jessica. Phoenix Chen from the 94th Fighter Squadron. Colonel Harrison picked up his safe radio. Hello, this is Harrison from Operations. I need to check a secret personnel file right away. Captain Jessica Chen, service number 123-4, 5-6789, was reported killed in action during Operation Silent Thunder. The reply came back in just a few minutes. Colonel, that document is classified as extremely secret, confirming that Captain Chen was officially killed in action, but the details of the operation are only for those who need to know. Harrison looked at Jessica and understood her better. Captain Chen, if you are really who you say you are, it changes everything. But I need to see that you can still fly. Jessica went over to the F-22 she had been working on. Her movements now show the skill and confidence of a fighter pilot instead of a maintenance worker. Colonel, this plane is ready for the mission. Everything is working well. We're ready for a battle. And I'm familiar with every part of this machine. Most importantly, I've been watching the enemy planes using our radar, and I understand how they fly. What do you mean, you know them? Sir, those aren't just random enemies. That's a planned attack using advanced technology to disrupt electronics. I've experienced similar attacks before. If you let me fly that plane, I can stop them. Colonel Harrison had to make an important choice that could either help the base or ruin his job. Captain Chen, you are now back on duty for emergencies. You are allowed to take action against enemy planes if needed. Jessica nodded and started getting ready for the flight. She moved so smoothly and automatically that even Colonel Harrison, who had been working with F-22s for 15 years, was impressed by how well she did it. Captain, Harrison said while Jessica was doing her walk-around check, it's been 8 years since you fought in a battle. Are you really ready for this? Jessica stopped looking at the F-22 and gazed at it with 8 years of unfulfilled desire. A pilot, like a colonel, doesn't forget how to fly any more than they forget how to breathe. What I've been doing for 8 years isn't running away from myself. It's about remembering every day what I could do before. She got into the F-22's cockpit easily, like someone coming back home after being away for a long time. Her hands easily found the controls, her eyes quickly looked over the instruments, and her body comfortably fit into the ejection seat as if it was made just for her. Phoenix took charge, and Jessica spoke on the radio with a strong voice that hadn't been heard on Edward's channel in 8 years, asking for quick approval for fighter planes to watch for threats. I see 4 objects on my radar at a direction of 270 degrees, flying at 30,000 feet high. Hello, this is Control. Ready to take off from runway 27. Warning, enemy planes have special devices that block signals. Earlier tries to intercept didn't work. Jessica pushed the F-22's throttles forward and felt the usual rush of power from flying the most advanced fighter jet ever made. The Raptor sped down the runway with perfect control, and Jessica felt like 8 years of heaviness disappeared as the plane took off into the California sky. Phoenix is in the air and going up, changing to the combat radio channel. It's time to see if these enemies know how to handle a skilled player. As Jessica flew up to 30,000 feet, she sensed her body remembering what to do. The tricky thinking needed for fighting in the air, the ability to think in 3D that set great pilots apart from the best, and the steady focus that helped her become the youngest female ace in Air Force history. She could see the 4 enemy planes getting closer to the restricted area on her radar screen. Their flying pattern was complex, made to confuse single planes trying to stop them and get past regular defense methods. But Jessica didn't get through Operation Silent Thunder by using regular methods. Phoenix, this is the control center. Enemy planes are blocking our tracking systems. We're losing track on the radar." Jessica smiled faintly as her F-22's advanced sensors started getting through the electronic defenses that had stopped previous attempts to intercept. The Raptor could get close to the enemy without being seen, and its advanced radar could work well even when other systems were being blocked. Take charge. Phoenix has clear information about all 4 enemies. They're flying in a diamond shape, but they're not set up for fighting other planes. These planes are prepared for attacking on the ground. Phoenix completely changes how we see the situation. If they are planning attacks on buildings and other places on the ground, Roger control means to have power over something or to manage it. Start the interception process. Jessica skillfully positioned her F-22 for an attack that would be hard for most pilots. She came in from underneath and behind, using the enemy plane's own formation to her advantage. Her experience in battles told her that these pilots were good, but they were flying in ways that were easy to predict, which made them open to the unique tactics she was trained to use. Phoenix is involved with a difficult leader. Jessica's first missile hit the target perfectly. A missile called a 120 AM hit the group leader before they could use their jamming systems to stop it. The first plane blew up in a big fire, causing the other 3 enemies to scatter. Instead of backing away, the remaining planes flew toward Jessica's location as if they had practiced fighting F-22 Raptors to manage or guide something. The remaining enemies are changing their tactics quicker than we thought. These are not random people attacking. They are specially prepared for this situation. Jessica found herself in a big fight with many planes, just like the one that made her well known 8 years ago. The 3 enemy pilots were very skilled, even better than that, and they were flying planes that should only be found in secret U.S. military programs. The Phoenix radar shows that there are 3 of them for every one of you. Do you need help? Jessica skillfully moved her F-22 jet through a series of defensive moves that challenged both the plane and her own body. After 8 years of maintenance work, she was familiar with the F-22's abilities, but actually flying the plane in combat was a whole new challenge. I can handle this. The Phoenix has returned. What happened next was an amazing show of flying skills that the control team would remember for many years. Jessica used all the skills she learned from her past fighting career and combined them with 8 years of experience working on F-22 systems. She defeated the second enemy with a kill that needed the kind of close flying that most pilots tried to avoid in stealth planes. The third enemy was hit by a missile that Jessica fired while flying upside down at a speed of 1.5 times the speed of sound. The last airplane was destroyed in a fight that showed why Jessica had earned her reputation before turning 25. Manage all enemy planes have been dealt with. Danger removed. The silence lasted for almost 30 seconds. Everyone on the ground was coming to terms with the idea that one maintenance worker had managed to stop a planned attack that regular defenses couldn't handle. "Hello, Phoenix. This is Colonel Harrison. Great job, Captain. Come back to the base right away. We need to discuss what happened in this meeting." As Jessica flew her F-22 back to Edwards Air Force Base, she understood that 8 years of being hidden were finally done. She kept secret missions safe by going into hiding, but today she helped save American lives by showing up again. Control, Phoenix here. We're asking to fly by for landing. Phoenix, you can use any approach you'd like. Jessica flew her F-22 in a victory loop to show everyone at Edwards Air Force Base that Captain Jessica Phoenix Chen was back, as if she had come back to life. 6 months later, Colonel Jessica Phoenix Chen was in the meeting room at Edwards Air Force Base, talking to a group of F-22 pilots who listened closely to what she said. She was quickly promoted and fully brought back to her position. But more importantly, her return to active duty changed the way the Air Force viewed keeping pilots and modern combat strategies. The most important lesson I can teach you, Jessica told her students, is that flying an F-22 isn't just about the machines. It's about knowing the airplane so well that it feels like a part of you. A young pilot lifted her hand. "Colonel, how did it feel to not fly for 8 years?" Jessica smiled, remembering her long journey from being a maintenance worker to getting recognition from DACE. "It showed me that being a pilot isn't just who you are. It's a role you take on every time you get into a cockpit. Working on these airplanes for 8 years has made me a better pilot, not a worse one." After the meeting, Jessica went out to where her F-22 plane was parked, ready for the afternoon training. Technical Sergeant Thompson was checking the plane before takeoff, and he saluted when she came near. "Everything looks fine, Colonel. Your bird is ready to fly." Jessica nodded back and then patted Thompson on the shoulder. "Thanks, Mike, for all your help that day." "Colonel, can I ask you something? Do you ever regret not flying for all those years?" Jessica glanced at the F-22, then at the other planes, and then at the young pilots getting ready for their training missions. "Mike, I learned something over the 8 years. Being grounded doesn't mean you can't be a pilot anymore. It just means you're getting ready for the day when flying is very important." Jessica got into her F-22 plane and started the steps to get ready for flight, excited to be back up in the sky where she felt at home. But she knew that legends aren't just created out of nowhere. They are kept safe by people who know that some skills are very valuable, even if they need to be kept secret.